Very good evening and a warm welcome to everyone who has joined us this evening for the inaugural lecture of InSpirit 2022. I, Soham Savde, an executive at the Entrepreneurship Cell IIT-Madras, I'm honored to welcome our esteemed guest for the evening, Mr. Piyush Goyal, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry. Piyush sir has had a brilliant record in every endeavor he has ever touched. An All India second rank holder in Chartered Accountant and second rank holder in law in Mumbai University. He was a well known investment banker and has advised top corporates on management strategy and growth. He has also served on the board of India's largest commercial bank, the State Bank of India and Bank of Baroda. He was earlier the Minister of Railways and Coal and has also held the additional charge of Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs twice in 2018 and 2019. Mr. Goyal's tenure had seen Indian Railways achieve its best ever safety record in 2018. He is currently the leader of Rajya Sabha in the parliament. We are really honored to have you, sir.
Thank you very much, Soham. I'm truly delighted to be a part of the eSummit 2022. And the subject is very exciting, disruption in veins. So compliments to IIT Madras for this initiative. I would have loved to attend this event in person amidst the natural beauty of your institute. And also, I believe you have the Gwindi National Park very close to your insti, as you call it. But I'm in the midst of several international issues right now, so I'm sure you'll excuse me for not being there. Well, your institute has been at the forefront of giving some of the best intellectuals and scientific brains to India. A lot of good work on R&D, a lot of good work, very integral to India's progress, has happened at IIT Madras. And that is why one can very safely say that truly it's an extraordinary institution of eminence. And some of the seminal work that you have done over the years makes every Indian proud. I'm privileged to interact with such a determined group of youngsters who are willing to go that extra mile. And that is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. And that is what I believe each one of you is set out to do in your life. I believe you are all driven by the motto of Siddhi Bharvati Karmaja. Success is achieved through efforts. And clearly, your institute has played a very important role in India's growth story. From being the first pillar of Indo-German friendship to being home to alumni like Chris Gopal Krishnan, or even your current director, Professor Kamakoti. I think IIT Madras truly is the pride of India and showcases India to the world. It's very, very evident. And I personally experienced it also when I visited IIT Madras, that each one of your faculty members has a passion, a commitment, a dedication, which I think rubs off on all the students also, as we see in the IIT Madras alumni. And I have a personal experience because my chief of staff, my OSD, is an alumni from your prestigious institute also. Well, the foundation of India's journey to becoming a startup nation, in a way, was laid by the Enthu I'm told that's how you call enthusiasm in your college. The
Yes, yes,
N2 IITM and the IITians from Madras really encourage the country to look at innovation, look at technology, look at this new paradigm of growth. And in that sense, innovation is in the DNA of each one of you. And I'm sure all the youngsters, the students, will continue to shine as they come out of IIT Madras. I think the ecosystem of the entire IIT there, where you can walk in with an idea, work on it, walk out with a finished product, that ecosystem kind of rubs off on you and encourages more and more youngsters to look at newer ways of doing things, smarter ways of doing things, cost effective ways of working, making life easier, making business easier. So, right from building products that establish India's leadership in research and innovation to creating the IIT Madras incubation cell and the IIT Madras research park, it shows how you are all working together for a better future for India. I'm also very delighted to know that IITs are the fourth largest creators of unicorns in the entire world. And IIT Madras, particularly, is very reputed as a hub for the software as a service startups. Probably that could be the next $1 trillion opportunity for India.
yes.
And I hope to see some of you participate in that. I am also very proud of all of you for having responded so strongly to Prime Minister Modi's clarion call for Atmanirbhar Bharat, self reliant India, an India which engages with the rest of the world from a position of strength with self confidence. And towards that end, you have been leading from the front on technology and innovation. Shakti, for example, our India's first indigenously developed microprocessor, which has the capacity or the capability to make India self reliant in defense and communication. I'm told we import about $15 billion of microprocessors every year. If you take Shakti processor to market quickly and help us reduce this burden of dependence on others, Shakti itself can play a very important role going forward. Probably we'll see the next Qualcomm or Texas Instruments coming out of IIT Madras. That should be our ambition and our goal. Well, I must also place on record our deep appreciation for the critical support you provided during the fight against COVID 19. As Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam had rightly said, and I quote, knowledge with action converts adversity into prosperity. And I think our IIT Madras students developing remote patient monitoring solutions, air sanitization technology, various new products has helped us fight COVID smarter and better. The theme of your, I believe, 4-day conclave, disruption in Weens, is truly very appropriate. The disruption has to be in the vein of every student, of every young engineer. Startup India, which started 6 years ago, is very much a revolution of sorts and also rests on the pillar of disruption. Today, it's almost become a household name, with India having more than 60,000 startups, probably 90 plus unicorns, and clearly 2021, the COVID year, will be always remembered as the year of Indian startups who have delivered on their promise. When we talk about development, we must look at the road of development from every individual individual's point of view, but also collectively from the nation's point of view. As they say, ये सामूहिक भी देखना है और व्यक्तिगत विकास भी होना चाहिए. Collective development and individual development. And I can give no better example of balancing this individual and societal development and commitment than your alumni like Sridhar Vembu, the founder of Zoho Corporation. He runs Zoho schools and tech centers in rural India, many of them in Tamil Nadu. I believe he's now moved his headquarters to pretty much a remote area of Tamil Nadu. And that's the kind of role models that make all of us proud. And compliments to IIT-Madras for creating that nationalist spirit in your students. This collective thinking about the well-being of 135 crore Indians will help us in the Amrit Kal, the next 25 years, as we move from 75 to 100 years of independence, in giving a better future, a future of prosperity to every single Indian. Friends, may I share 4 mantras for, I've told you also use the word thalping.
Yes, yes, sir.
For stellar performance.
Yep.
So 4 mantras for thumping for all of you, for thalping for all of you. And particularly for India, for thalping India in innovation and invention. 1, can we provide more localized solutions for global problems like clean water, something which is required all across the country? Can your International Center for Clean Water aspire to solve the water problems not just of Chennai, but also of India and then the world? We need more startups like Vayujal, Tex, which started from your institute. Number 2, can we innovate for farmers, artisans, weavers, working in handicrafts, handlooms, small retailers, this large mom and pop store all across the country ecosystem, to help them also contribute to realizing the goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Do not put peace until the country becomes self-reliant or Atmanirbhar. My God, you have some really interesting lingo, I must say. And I'm getting educated in the process.
You're doing
But
it really
truly,
well, sir.
sorry?
You're using it really well, sir, our institute language.
So let's all collectively agree that we shall not put peace until India becomes Atmanirbhar. Similarly, let's not run after success. Let excellence be our primary motto. You remember Rancho in Three Idiots?
Yeah.
सक्सेस के पीछे मत भागो, एक्सेलेंस के पीछे भागो. सक्सेस झक मार के तुम्हारे पीछे आएगी. I think it was a very appropriate way, very well put. And in a way, he has encouraged all of us to look beyond our textbook and classroom, and is a role can actually encourage innovation. The way they put it in that movie, it was beautifully shown. I urge all of you also to make economies of scale, high quality products, and job creation, creating an ecosystem which gives more and more people opportunity to earn a decent income as the focal point of all the good work that you are doing. As the famous and revered Tamil poet Thiruvalluvar had said, nothing is impossible for those who act after wise counsel and careful thought. thought. I think if all of us follow his wise words, his wise saying advice, what Thiruvalluvar said so many years ago, I think the wise counsel of Professor Kamakoti, the wise counsel of your other faculty, the wise counsel of our leaders will help us make Seva and Samarpan Bhav our guiding philosophy, and all of us will collectively work to give back to our nation. Well, as they say, what we do today, how we live today, and today's work alone, deeds alone, are going to decide our tomorrow. And our future is in our own hand. I am confident each one of you will bring out a unique style to bring about change, to bring about a better future for India. I wish all of you crack, pass life, pass in life, and even if you cup, rise and start again. As Michael Jordan had said, and I quote, I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game, trusted to take the game winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Let's make IIT Madras a symbol of success and self confidence. Truly the sign of a flag bearer of Startup India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was truly inspiring. Now we'll move on to the fireside chat. We have some questions for you. As we are all aware that there have been 42 unicorns in 2021 and 10 and still counting in 2022. You being the chairperson of the National Startup Advisory Council, what major changes that you have observed over the years, and how do you think these things are going to change in future?
Well, first of all, our startups are getting valued and priced for their innovation far better than ever before. Similarly, there's more money on the table, whether as seed capital or initial capital or different stages of fundraising that is required for startups. There are several possibilities. I'm told in many cases the startups do window shopping to see whose money they're going to take. They choose the bride, the swamvar happens with the startup choosing whose money is going to take. Now that was not something we saw few years ago, where the startups was run chasing capital. I'm told for good ideas, for scalable ideas, for database, technology-based solutions, today finance or capital is not a constraint. Similarly, our quality of technology and innovation is now in many cases world class. We are second to none in the world. That itself is a big evolution from the past. So I do believe that our startups are making India proud. 90 unicorns by itself is reflective of the confidence with which our startups are growing. By and large, the startups have created a good name for themselves, a very high level of credibility. And I'm fairly confident that going forward, there'll be more and more changes. We are working in the advisory council also continuously with new ideas. And I would invite all of you also to share any new thoughts that you may have to help us in our work at the advisory council.
Indeed, sir. I'm sure we'll grow faster than ever. Around 45% of Indian startups are from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and 623 districts have at least one recognized startup. So, you have been always vocal about rural economy and entrepreneurship in smaller cities. What do you envision about the same, and how much time do you think it will take the startup culture to imbibe in the smaller cities and the rural areas?
Well, you'll be amazed at some of the ideas coming from the smaller cities. And this is not for today. I can tell you it goes back 30 years also. I'm sure you've heard of Vedanta, for example, Anil Agarwal. You know, he came from a small place in Bihar. And look what Vedanta is today. So he was a startup 30 years ago. Similarly, Paytm, Mr. Ghosh, he comes from a small place in Odisha. I'm told Ritesh Agarwal of Oyo probably comes also from a very small town. So it's not as if this hasn't percolated to the tier 2, 3, 4 towns and cities. I think we have been deliberating on this in the advisory council also. We need to see more, we have to create a connect between the ideas in the smaller areas and investors to see that they get adequately funded at the right time. We'll also have to support them through better incubation centers in the smaller areas. So there are a lot of ideas on the table, but I won't be surprised if this cusp of entrepreneurs coming from the smaller areas will quickly expand in the coming days. I do appreciate that we have our own Silicon Valley in Bangalore, a lot of startups coming up in Delhi or Gurugram area, a lot of work happening in a few areas in the country, including Chennai. But I do hope and I'm strongly committed to supporting the startups in new and emerging smaller towns and cities.